She just wants to be beautiful. She goes unnoticed. She knows no limit. She craves attention. She praises an image she prays to be sculpted by the sculptor. But she don't see the light that's shining deeper than the eyes can find it. Maybe we have made her blind, so she tries to cover up her pain and cut her woes away. 'Cause cover girls don't cry after their face is made. But there's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing, the world could change its heart. No scars to you're beautiful, we're stars and we're beautiful.
Yeah, that's good. You have an amazing voice.
Oh,
Mimi
thank you.
nilijaribu kuimba kidogo ikafanya ile kitu.
Ikagonga mwamba, but it's only something that you can learn. Because hata
Yeah.
mimi nilikuwa
Hello, everyone. Once again, welcome to the Voices of Artists podcast here in American Corner, Nakuru County. And I am your favorite host, Precious Owoko. Tuliwambia wasanii wako na story. And this is where we get to hear all those stories. Because apart from the talent, apart from the art, there is a journey that this artist has gone through. And that is why we are here today. This video, I have an amazing lady. I'm telling you, she's very talented. Like ile talent is zile talent zenye zinakuwaga rare. Those kind of talents. So just relax and watch this video till the end. Especially if you're into monologues, if you're doing singing, if you're a VO or voiceover artist, or you are planning to get into voiceovers. Please make sure this is the video that you watch till the end. I am your host, like I said, Precious Owoko.
Hi everyone, my name is Sylvia Wanja. As Precious has introduced, I'm a singer, voiceover artist. I do monologues, that is in acting. I am also a writer, and I do so many things in the creative space. I try drawing, so yes, and I'm really, really happy to be here to share my story. And I hope that my story is going to inspire someone out there. That even though it might seem like things are dark, I mean, in a dark room and hakuna light at the end of the tunnel, there's always light. Okay, all that matters is that you keep going, keep on pushing. You're going to make amazing progress. Enjoy. Yeah.
Okay, so just tell us,
Mhm.
where did you grow up, and how was your childhood like?
Okay, so I grew up in Nyahururu. That is something that most people don't know.
Okay.
Niko ushago mashinani kidogo, but
Mm.
I would say my childhood was average. It was from a humble background.
Mm.
My parents are both teachers, so they were very, very avid when it comes to books. Well, there wasn't much room to explore
Lazima
art.
ungekuwa chopi.
Daktari, neurosurgeon at that. So I had to read a lot. There was
Mm.
no room or space to, experiment, try figure out what you could be good at.
Okay.
So yeah, it was just basically books and lots of books.
All right.
Nothing else. But over time, I would say that kept changing. After we moved from Nyahururu now to Nakuru, I joined a school whereby they really appreciated art.
Okay.
And I was very expressive in class. So from there, the teacher was like, you know what? You will be good in drama. So the very first art piece I did was a narrative. And at that time, I was in class 6.
All right.
I was so tiny. I was so small. I was like this height.
Okay.
This time I'm in class 6. So other teachers were like, are you sure this Kagal will be able to deliver?
Uko sure tutaenda
Yeah, uko sure
nationals?
we will do this. But I kind of tried my best. I put my best foot forward, and then the teacher was very good at directing and giving me pointers. Jaribu hii, nini nini. I cried in that narrative for the first time on cue.
For real?
And I was like, okay, kuna kitu hapa, I need to explore. And during the competitions, I did so well, considering the fact that it was the first time I was trying it. I went up to regionals.
Wow.
And then, yeah, I loved it. And I was like, there's something here that I need to find. There's something that I can do. Yeah.
So that was a solo narrative ama
A
ilikuwa
solo narrative. I was alone. Let me tell you what happened kwanza at the
yes.
very first stage of performance.
Mm.
Nimeingia kwa room, I'm so tiny, and then I'm seeing big people seated on that panel, judges, adjudicators,
Wako
wanakuanga watatu.
serious.
Serious faces, they're not smiling, pens and all that. Now, the school where we were doing the competitions, they had a kitchen karibu na the hall.
Okay.
So, senior kulia machozi ikuji.
Mm.
Luckily, they were making lunch na moshi ikaanza moshi ikaanza kukuja direction ilikuwa, and thank God for the wind, and the windows were open.
Yes.
So that smoke got into my eyes, and that's how I got into character.
Ah. So mwalimu akatoka hapo akisema
Huyu ni actress noma. Hiyo wakati ni Moshi. I'm like, thank you Moshi. Kwa sababu kama ungekuja singe character. So yeah, from after I did it the very first time, I was like, you know what, I can do this. So it kept going. I was very active in drama since that time. Even after I switched schools, the next school I went to, I made sure that I joined drama and music festivals.
Okay.
So that is how I started growing my craft slowly.
So basically you discovered your talent when you were in class 6.
Yeah, that's when I discovered I could do it.
Okay.
But sasa kulikuwa na hizi zingine za Sunday school.
Yes.
Za mnaact Mary na nini time ya Christmas, mnaact kuna Mary kuna Jesus
Unakuwa
kuna
angel.
unakuwa angel, unatokea ukifanya hivi ukisema thou and behold you will receive yeah. So
Yes.
it started there, but sasa when like how it professionally ama seriously I took it seriously at class 6.
Okay.
Grade 6 now.
So who has been unaweza sema who has been your greatest supporter in terms of your talent?
Hey, first, okay. That is a very tricky question, but I can say, well, I was starting out, my parents were not very thrilled about me getting into art.
Okay, because ni walimu na lazima ukwe chopi.
Exactly. So, anytime I would maybe flop kidogo kwa masomo, they would blame it on my acting.
Oh, okay.
And the clubs that I was in school, the drama, the music, the what. So it got to a point whereby I really had to convince them that art is not a bad thing. So I used to put a lot of effort when it comes to my studies. If I want to be a part of this, I have to make sure that I get good grades. So before they were not okay with it, but right now I think they're beginning to appreciate and understand who I am. But it had to take me convincing them through my consistency and the fact that they have seen me grow in it. They're like, okay, you know what? Maybe there's something here for her. All those years and she's still hanging on. There's something for her there.
Yes.
So and also I would say the biggest supporters among them are people who I have met over the years.
Okay.
We have shared stories, different stories when it comes to our art. Sitaki kuwaita fans, wacha niseme family. Yeah, there's those people who they want to come along the journey, they know you through your art, and they really push you. Ile ukika umetulia sana unajua, what's happening? You're not singing. We don't see monologues. We don't see acting. Like what's up? Like we need something from you.
Yeah.
So I would say those people who push me out of my comfort zone so that I can keep pursuing what I love. Those are the people who I will call my biggest supporters. And of course, my brother. Hi. He is my really, really big supporter.
Okay.
And my sister as well. My entire, let me just say my family, as of now, they're very big when it comes to supporting me.
Yes.
And yeah, the family I picked along the way.
So talk of your brother. So you are uko namba ngapi kwa familia yenu?
I'm the firstborn in a family of 3. Very responsible.
Wewe ndo role model.
Mimi ndo role model. Ndio maana nilikuwa na kazi hivyo na wewe achana na acting, achana na nini. Kuna wenzako wanakuangalia.
Okay. So as a firstborn, what was your lowest moment? Because kuna zile time yenye okay, kuna kwaga na breakdowns mingi ukiwa firstborn, but what was your lowest moment as a firstborn yenye ulikuwa tu yenye hapo ilikuwa you are low kabisa?
Okay, I do not know where to start because the low moments are many, considering the fact that we are co-parents at an age whereby we're not even ready for that kind of responsibility.
Yes.
So, really, I'm still children also, like, But I would say my lowest moment is when my parents expected me, ama temenyo alikuwa nani ekelea makosa ya my siblings. Like, it did, yes, help foster responsibility, but it also did a number on me.
Hebu tupe sample ya makosa yenye uliekelewa ukafeel hapo wamenionea sasa.
Nikipeana, my brother will be mad at me.
Ataelewa, brother slide, don't worry, this is just a podcast.
Yeah, so what happened, my dad used to travel away a lot for work.
Okay.
He used to go for seminars, so sometimes he will go for a week.
Mm.
And during this particular hi Marema peoples. So during this particular time, he goes to a seminar and akacha gari. And now my brother in his very young age, he doesn't even know how to drive. Akaamua kucheza cheza na gari kidogo. So akaigongesha. Now me as the firstborn, I don't know this is happening. Unaona ile ya watoto mkienda kucheza, mimi nimeenda kucheza na madem, of which madem kucheza ni dress up to like,
Yes.
you try makeup blah blah blah. So my brother nimemwacha nyumbani, ameleta my boys, kucheza na gari. I have no clue whatsoever. So I come back and sasa it was like a day to my dad coming back home. Now my brother amejua amegongesha gari, hajaniambia. So my dad comes home and he's like, ile kutoa gari anapata there's a dent. So my brother knows what he did. Kuhepa home. So guess who was blamed for my brother kuhepa home? Me. I was not responsible enough to take care of my brother. So I'm like, I didn't even know there was a dent.
Well,
I didn't even know that he was going to run away. So it was one whole fiasco. So I'll say it really made me feel bad because why should I? Okay, it's good to be a brother's keeper.
okay, that's
yeah. But now, kidogo ni sikusikia vizuri kuwekelewa makosa iko yako. Yeah.
Okay, so kwa your art ama your journey as an artist, there has been a lot of maybe challenges that you've experienced along the way, and you will still experience. So far, what are some of the biggest challenges that you feel face so far?
Well, I let me not label them biggest challenges because I know they can get worse. Let's just say challenges that I've gone through as an artist.
Okay.
I would say that there are a lot of naysayers, or haters. If I would
My
put
haters.
it, my haters. I would say that when someone is starting off art, or when someone is trying to pursue their art, they're not perfect. They're always learning they're always in the process of learning. Now, as a critic, it is good for you to give your opinions, your critique, but again, it matters how you do it.
Yeah.
So you can say nisinamwambia ukweli, but now you're killing someone's dream. So I would say there are a lot of naysayers. Another thing is there's let me say without seeming contradicting, like without contradicting myself. But I would say another problem I have come across is the fact that it is hard for someone who is starting out to really, really understand the industry or to find a mentor who's going to guide you through.
Yeah.
And let me say the creative space is not very welcoming and is not very forgiving.
Yeah.
If you make mistakes, there's always someone to remind you.
Remember.
Yeah, there's always someone to remind you that you're not good enough or you're not meant to be in that particular space. So finding mentorship is really, really hard. Finding spaces for you to hone your craft is very, very hard as well. Because if you go to these big people, these kingpins, the agents who are supposed to hook you up with gigs, they're like, we want someone perfect. I'm like, you're the ones to perfect me. If you don't give me a platform to try out what or to show what I have, I will never get better.
Okay.
And then challenges ni mob. But I would say the ones that stand out the most ni those three. Maybe another one could be sometimes it's hard to find resources to help like hone your craft to make it what you envisioned it for the longest time. So yeah, challenges ni mob. Alafu wacha niachie hapo kwa sababu
Yeah, now what can you say about support? About like ukianza?
Ilikuwa ni ngumu. I wouldn't even lie. But I would say that what I did as an artist, you have to put yourself out there, whether you like it or not. And unafaa kuwa tuna audacity. Audacity, weka.
Ni constant.
Kila siku dose, jidunge sindano ya audacity, because that's how you get into certain spaces. So I learned that when I joined campus. I don't know anyone. Nimefika campus, nimefika new town, new everything.
Boarding school.
Bas. So hata hujui kuongelesha watu vizuri because you're used to that confinement. But now I had to really push myself in a way that nilienda kwa spaces zenye Kuambia first year wafai kuingia hapo first year, but I was like, you know what? So I used to hide the fact that I'm a first year so that I could belong. But it worked in my favor because it got me into some spaces.
Okay.
I joined acting, I joined spaces when kuna creatives, and that is how I got to even understand more like what I can do. I didn't know I could do voiceovers, but it had to take me going up before people and speaking to them, and they're like, yes, Sotina sound vizuri, can you do an ad? I'm like, oh, okay, I can try. I do the ad. They're like, good. I'm like, oh wow. So yeah, from today, guys, I'm a voiceover artist as well. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would say be very audacious. Yeah.
So kuna hii like there's something someone has ever told you.
Yeah.
Inaweza kuwa kitambo, inaweza kuwa sahi,
Yeah.
that made you feel really bad.
Oof.
And karibu kidogo tu hivi useme ikitu maybe it's not
So
my thing,
working.
maybe ni ya watu wengine. What is that thing someone ever said, and how did you deal with that?
Okay, so first things first. I've had so many comments, so many negative comments, and I have positive ones. That should tell you something about why most artists give up on their goals among their dreams, because there's so many people who are very quick to say negative things. Then there are people who are there to tell you positive things. So I have had so many things, but I remember this particular one that I will never forget. Okay, so I used to be. I'm trying to get back to singing. There was a time I had stopped completely.
Yeah.
Because of a comment someone said.
Alisema nini?
So this is what they said. This was a friend of mine. Let's say a friend. Let me say we were acquainted with each other. It was back in campus. And during that time, I was doing a lot of performances, but I used to do events. I used to do live performances. And I don't know. Yes, I had received like so many compliments from people, but I don't know why this one stood out, and it made me stop singing for a while. This person said, I recorded a video of myself singing, and then I posted it on my WhatsApp status. And then this person goes ahead and replies to that video, and he's like, oh, you're singing. Have you ever really stepped foot in a music class? That's all he said, but that was enough to get me to stop singing for a while. Because what do you make of that statement? And I asked for elaboration, but he said nothing beyond that particular point.
Akaiachia tu.
Aliachia tu hapo. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, mtu hawezi kuwa kuuliza kama umestep into a musical class hivyo, unless like,
Sauti iko
anamaanisha
nje.
sauti iko nje, labda naimba off key na sijisikia, alafu and then during that time I came across a term sijui inaitwa tone deaf, ati mtu anaweza imba lakini hajisikii. So I was like, you know what guys, maybe I'm tone deaf. And I actually assumed that identity of a tone. I used to tell, mimi niko tone deaf mbaya sana. Hiyo wakati, I'm not even tone deaf, but it was an excuse for me to stop singing.
Okay.
And it didn't work out well for me in the end. Because Sababu, if something is meant for, it calls you by your name.
Yeah.
Even when you're sleeping, it
Yeah.
calls you by your name. It's like, Sylvia Wanja, wake up and sing. When it's better to go shower, you're just singing. And you're singing nice.
Yeah.
So, let's be careful the words we tell artists out here. Sometimes it might seem like a harmless joke, but it might cost them there. If you want to correct someone, just try Google.
Yeah.
There's information on Google on how to tell someone something in a very kind way.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you said, because there are people who just talk because they want to talk. And then the fact that even if you want to correct me, right? You've seen whatever I'm doing. Maybe this podcast is not pleasing to your eye, for example. And then you go ahead to tell me, stop doing that podcast. But if I stop, what's next?
Yeah. It's
But
your passion.
if you come and tell me, stop doing that podcast, but there's a way you can do it better.
Yeah, work on this.
Yeah,
and
I
this.
will help you. Okay, in terms of editing, I will help you. In terms of videography, I will help you. But you're correcting me, manze, na how contribute anything.
Hata ujui hiyo career ni kuhusu ama that thing.
Yes.
You don't know what it takes to be that person. Like, tukue wazuri majamaa. Let's be kind. Let's be kind.
Yes.
Yeah, it goes a long way.
So what is the biggest stage yenye unaweza sema so far umestand ukasikia talent yangu nimetumia, hata kama you are not acknowledged, but ukasikia talent yangu hapo nilitumia?
Biggest stage, like, is it in terms of, oh yeah, So this one is not a stage, but it's a platform.
Okay.
I remember back when I did an acting class back in 2020 during quarantine, and there was someone from, I think, Australia, who came up with a competition in monologues, wild monologue games. And now the teacher who was the trainer who was teaching us acting reached out to me. He had started his own school, his own production, and he wanted me to represent his school. And I was like, you know what? It's quarantine. There's nothing much to do, so why not? And I decided to join in the competition under the main amateur category, and I ended up being number 9 globally. So
Wow.
that was a very big milestone. And also, I've also participated in Africa Monologue Challenge. There was a time I was part of the selected 50. Was it 2023? Yeah, I was part of the top 50, and I was evicted like at phase 9, phase 6, and it was up to 9. So I was close. I was close. I
Kidogo tu
almost,
hivi.
okay, no, go to, I almost clocked it.
Eh.
But yeah, so I have also taken part in some acting gigs. I've worked with Philip Productions. I've done Hula Baloo. That was when I was back in campus. And when it comes to singing, I've done a couple of events. There was an event that used to happen in Juja. It went into a Juja something. What is it, Juja? Something. There was I forgotten the name, but it used to happen at Juja City Mall. I have been a part of that event. I also have performed at Freshers Bash kadhaa kwa shule. So I would say in terms of performances, probably these are the biggest platforms that I have used.
Okay.
I'm at the biggest milestones that I have right now.
Yeah. So what is your source of inspiration in terms of your art?
Well, I would say usually ni Kali, but I would say what cuts across all the forms of art that I do is the fact that it's my love for creating,
Okay.
and the fact that I just love being in the space. I love seeing what people do in the space, and I love emulating like what people do when it comes to creating. Like I hear someone like in singing, for example, ndasikia mtu akimba and then afanye kari fulani ama a belt. So you're like, oh, can I do that? So unashinda the next entire week you're just trying it. Can I do that? So I would say that is my source of inspiration. The fact that I have this consistent push within me that wants me to keep creating. Maybe if I can mention something else,
Okay.
I would say I was blessed to have a very, very amazing teacher of English. His name was Mr. Juma. As we were finishing our exams, alinitanga kando na akaniambia je, because I was very active in school. I was active in the school choir. I used to be in a band. I used to do a lot of singing. I did go music festival, drama festivals, nini. And now because he was my teacher of English, he used to check like what I write. So alinambia, whatever you do, wherever you go, there are two things that I want you to never forget. That you need to hold on to music no matter what you do. Alisema whatever career you take, that's on you. But never leave music and never leave writing.
Wow.
So hiyo imekuwa ni kama, let me say, a wake up calls. Anytime I try to leave it, I'm like, yeah,
I need to go back.
I need to go back. There's something that I need to do right here. So yeah.
So have you written a song?
Many.
You've written many songs.
People who know me from campus know I used to perform my own songs.
Okay.
I barely used to do like covers. Covers I will do them maybe for live performances, really vibing and chilling, open mic. But full on performances I used to do my own songs.
All right, so we can collaborate. Tunaweza fanya collab.
We can work on something. We can work on something because again I love writing.
Wow.
So songwriting and poetry as well. I love writing poetry and singing poetry, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
that's yeah.
So there's someone who said, and I asked a previous singer, there's someone who said, behind every singer, pain produces the best singer. That is exact statement. Alisema, pain produces the best singers.
True.
What can you say about that?
It's very true. It's a very true statement. Because I didn't know I could write until I experienced, like, let me say, life experiences. They teach you that you can do some things. Because for me to start writing songs, it started with journaling. And then I realized what I'm journaling, iko na rhyme.
Okay.
And then there's always that voice in your head as a singer. Ama ni mimi peke. Labda ni mimi niko na shida. But there's always like there's rhythm in your head, like it's always playing. So I don't even sit and think, hey, it's a sound it just, the words come and they come with rhythm. So as I was reading my journal, it came with rhythm.
Wow.
And I started singing like that. That's how I knew I could write songs, because I used to write songs that were very close to my heart because of that. So I would say, yeah.
So when was that?
It was back in campus. That's when I learned how to write songs. That I could write songs, actually. That's where I learned.
What triggered? If you
Do you have time? Do you have time? Because synchronizing. But I would say, getting to campus, I was very naive. And let me tell you something. Your children
Yeah.
might be watching this, maybe in campus. Do not believe everything you see in movies about campus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me say the West has really influenced us. Anytime when you watch campus movies, nakuonyeshaga venye utaenda,
Yeah.
you know, you're the main character of your story.
Yeah.
Means the love of your life. And you'll get married and run off into the future, into the horizon with kids and everything. But it's very, very different.
Yeah.
So I would say my experience was that, hey, campus taught me something.
Unataka kusema ni heartbreak
Si
ilifanya
hata si
ukaanza
heartbreak
kuimba.
sikufika kwa hiyo point ya heartbreak, but ile ya
Mm.
learning that being naive, that naivety, I had to let it go.
Okay.
So it was a me versus me type of situation. So that
wow.
so journaling that whole experience of you can't just trust people because of their surface value, because of who they present themselves. You have to really be intentional to get to know what are the intentions behind this particular person. Yes, anakuapproach akisema, I want us to have something, but what something are they talking about?
Yeah.
Confirm, you know, something is a lot.
Usijijazie tu.
Something is a lot. It could be what you're not considering. So I would say, let me say my experiences, especially, it's funny actually. My situation was on friendship. Friendship is what made me start writing songs for the very first time. And it was a female friend. So we're not just going to say Gopa or Baba. Pia marafiki,
They
weka
can
hapo
do
chini,
that.
ogopa marafiki.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be careful of the friendships that you're getting into.
Okay.
You just can't be friends with everyone. Okay. And you need to make sure that the people you have in your corner are always cheering you on. Si wenye wanangoja huyu wacha ateguke hivi, akigonga hivi chini
Ataanguka saa ngapi?
tunakanyanga shingo tunamaliza. So that is the kind of friend I had back then. But haikuwa mbaya, everything works for good because that's how I knew I could write songs.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to have.
So do you remember
appreciate
that song?
the very ilikuwa graphic, but it was the very first song I wrote ilikuwa inaitwa Rest in Peace. So I was saying bye to the friendship. So that was my first Rest in Peace.
Unaweza tuimbia tu kidogo tu.
Nitaikumbuka. So what I did, I picked a free instrumental from online. That's what I used for that very first song.
Okay.
And ilikuwa inaenda, 'cause I was nothing but a game to you. You played my heart like the grand piano. You broke me, hurt me, da-da. And then you played me for a fool. You took advantage of my laughing and caring. 'Cause I was nothing but a game. Darling. To you. So ukimaliza hiyo you ilikuwa na kanini kanaingia rest in peace, alafu inarudia
kama kurap.
Yeah. So rest in peace, 'cause I was nothing but a game to you. You played my heart like the grand piano. You broke me, crushed me, da-da. And then you played me for a fool. You took advantage of my loving and caring. 'Cause I was nothing but a game. Darling, to you.
Wow, naweza taka kusikiza one of your songs. You should record songs. You should record. Ama usha record.
You
should record. Enda studio sasa. You are sleeping on your talents.
Well, let me say something that's underway. And God willing, if things allow and if time allows, I will get to pursue that side of things. But I will say I'm more in love with the live performance experience. So right now I'm learning how to play an instrument. So maybe the next time I'll be coming here, I won't say what instrument, I might be just playing for you live. Mambo live. So stick around for that.
Is there a point in your life that you've ever raised your expectations and it people frustrated you? Ama watu wali okay, let me give you an incident. Like there's this friend of mine who was had a birthday. So she was so excited about her birthday and she decided to call her colleagues and organize a birthday. They got drinks and she brought in tents, entertainers. Yeah, she was expecting a lot, so she spent like 200K for the whole birthday thing.
Yo.
And the people who came and the gifts that were
Were brought.
were bought or were brought
Yeah.
zilikuwa zinajaa to 80,000. So she was left with a very big debt to pay. So is there a point in your life that you've ever expected so much from people and they failed you big time? And
Yeah.
what point was it and how did you deal with that?
So I will say yes, there are many, many times whereby I expected so much from people and I was let down in the end. Especially when it comes to getting people to buy into the idea of your dreams. And I realized, I learned from that particular situation that it's very personal. It's something that you have to be willing to do by yourself without having anyone else in the picture. Because I used to think that as I'm doing my craft, people will always cheer me on, but that's not the case. Utaenda pale mtandao andika music moja safi, you're like, hey, mimi ni superstar. And then the moment you post it, hey, likes bana hakuna.
Likes ni mbili.
Likes
Na ni yako na ule beshte yako mwenye
na moja ya mtu akiscroll by mistake ka double tap alafu anaitoa, unarudi unapata ni moja peke yake. So I would say that expectation that people will always show up because you're creating, especially people who you think are close to you, will always show up. So what I learned or how I overcome to that situation is learning ya kwamba the journey is personal.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you post it and there's only 2 likes. Does it make you happy? That's all that counts. Whatever you're doing, does it make you happy? If it does make you happy, achana na hao watu wengine. That's why even very famous musicians walituimbia wakatuambia do what makes you happy, do what makes you smile, because everybody will judge anyway.
Yeah.
So whatever feels right to you, whatever you love doing, don't stop at nothing just because people have something to say. Alafu reduce your expectations to 0 wakati wote. Yeah. Reduce expectations to 0. That is how you will grow as an artist, kwa sababu siko rahisi hata kidogo. Yes.
So what was the most interesting part of your journey in campus?
There's so many interesting bits, but I would say the one that really stands out, especially when it comes to my craft, is getting to work with Philip. Being on that set, like I grew up watching these guys, the people who are acting in Hulabalu, kina Magoha, kina Alexander, kina, I grew up watching them in Vitimbi, and then upon the same set with them, I'm like, I know you, I know you. I see Abel Muto, I'm like, I know you. I see Phil, I'm like, oh, I'm here with superstars. So I would say that was a really, really big thing for me. It really exposed me to knowing so many people, and it was a really nice platform. It's something that I sit and still remember till date. I'm like, hey,
that was good.
It was a really amazing experience. So I would say that is one, and then another one is during this time I performed at a particular event. It was an event with approximately 1,000 people, and I performed an original song, and I had the crowd hyped, and I was like, kuna kitu hapa. There's something. There's something I need to tap into. I'll say those were the most outstanding like moments that I had.
According to you, msanii anaweza aje deal na nervous breakdown kwa stage?
Hey.
Umefika stage,
Yeah.
you thought people would cheer you up when you model, unexpect like model ametoka before wewe, alipigiwa nduru mpaka kila mtu akasimama, and then you stand in that on that stage and nobody no hakuna ni mtu mmoja mwenye anasimama. So how can someone deal with such a thing? Your nervous breakdown, how can someone deal with it?
So I would say first things first. You will have to always be prepared. Okay, if you're going to perform somewhere, get to know who is in the lineup. Get to know unawekwa perform after who, because that is very, very important. It will prepare you mentally for whatever you're going to experience on that stage. I've had instances whereby I performed to a still crowd. No emotion, no nothing. You just sit there like, wemaliza stories zako uende home. But the show has to go on. It doesn't matter what happens. So what no maana nasema jifanyie wewe. Whether you are happy and you're having a good time, yeah? But alafu that nervousness, it always happens. It's not something that you can get rid of. But time and time again, you have to remind yourself, why are you doing it in the first place?
Mm.
If you remind yourself, if you know the reason why you're doing it,
Mm.
then it doesn't matter whether people join you. But sasa pia tena tujifunza skills za hype up crowd.
Yeah.
Because you're not performing for yourself, you're performing for
For
people.
Yeah.
So get to know your crowd, get to know what they're about. Because again, you can't go to a corporate function and you're like, hey, kila mtu mikono juu. You're like, kidogo.
Ama unaanza kutoa jokes zenye ziko off na
Yeah,
corporate. Unaanza
exactly.
kutoa.
So corporate is calm. If you can perform an opera, someone they will clap for that because they're like it resonates with us.
Yeah.
So understand your crowd. Ukienda mali kuna campus students, hey, hype mbaya sana Arusha. Because kila mtu mikono juu, kila mtu twende stingoni hivi ni, you know. So get to uko na assignment ya kufanya. Uko na assignment.
So it's not just about that talent that you have.
No.
It comes with you mastering your craft,
Yeah.
and also understanding your crowd. Because sometimes you might feel frustrated, but you are in the wrong crowd. Or at times you might feel like you've done something good, but wamekuchia up ndo uende home.
But there's that thing, makofi. You're cutting it, telling get out of the stage, bana. It's also good for you to learn about human psychology.
Yeah.
Understand? Ukiona unabo your audience, people ulikuwa na set ya 10 minutes, heri reduce. Venye hawatakumbuka wewe ndio uliwabo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ukiona you were not prepared enough to deliver to that crowd like you had intended. Yes. Kata hiyo story. Hata irudifanya mic iko na shida, zima mic, sema mic kama iko na shida baadaye. Alafu vamos out of there, because there's no harm in taking a step back, figuring out what your mistakes are, learning from, but then that's how you grow. You have to learn from your mistakes and then you move forward from that particular point.
So is there someone that you're mentoring? Now that you mentioned earlier about mentorship, is there someone that you're mentoring, and which area are you mentoring that person into?
Well, so I would say I am mentoring a couple of people, but I'm also being mentored.
Okay.
Because again, I can't give so much and also not receive on my end. So I'm being mentored, especially in the areas of writing. I know I've been writing for a long time, but it's important for you to learn from the industry experts, people who have been there before you, about what the rules are. How do I make sure that I am the best? How do I compete with people who have been in the industry for a very long time? So in matters writing, I'm being mentored on directing as well. So I'm also mentoring people when it comes to doing voiceovers. I've done it for approximately over like 4 years now. So that is a milestone. So I'm trying to mentor the ones who are coming up. I actually have an entire course, a crash course on YouTube with like about 18 videos for any beginner who is starting out when it comes to doing voiceovers. And it's really informative.
So what's the YouTube channel in case someone is interested and they might want to look up to that?
Yeah, just search Sylvia Wanja. It'll bring Sylvia Wanja, go to the playlist inaitwa Beginner's Guide to Voiceovers. So you're going to learn a lot there about diction, about tone, pitch, about how to voice for character, that is animations, how to voice for commercials, documentaries, all those things. You're going to get them in there.
If you were to write a book, what would be the title of the book and why?
Okay, so if I were to write up, okay, let me say, okay, so let me say, I told you I love writing, right?
Yeah.
So right now I'm working on a book, a novel, and the title of the novel is "Hey Stranger." So I am, let me say, I'm a fan of. Najua mtani nini, but ni sawa. I'm a fan of romance. So the many scenarios I have in my head, instead of putting them, throwing them aside, I'm putting them to good use. So I'm putting them down on paper. So yeah.
So
it's a Hey Stranger.
Hey Stranger.
Yeah, Hey Stranger.
That looks like an interesting book. Is this someone inspired it, or tuachane nayo kwanza tungoje kitabu?
Hey, someone, kweli. Let me say, it's just, okay, not a specific person who inspired it, but I would say, I told you about my mwalimu wangu wa Kiingereza, ambaye niambia, nikienda, let me not forget about music and writing. So I will say, those words kept ringing in my head, and I was like, you know what, let me try do something, because I'm always, unajua akili ya creative, niko hapa lakini niko US, napiga maraundi mbaya sana, ama niko hapa niko Maldives, Bahamas. So my mind wanders a lot. So all that wandering and taking detours and adventures and all that, why don't I just put it down to paper?
For
So
sure.
say if I'm dedicating it to someone, actually kwa acknowledgements, labda tu niseme tu ni mwalimu wangu jendo alinikumbusha, he gave me words to remind me that I'm good at writing.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter whether I hit a dead end ama nipate writer's block nishindwe kumaliza kitabu lakini nitamaliza hii. Yeah, I'm always reminded that I'm a good writer.
Okay.
And it just takes me like having patience and like keep pushing and being consistent to see it.
So what is your parting shot?
So I would say my parting shot is for each and every artist out there who is listening to this or who is watching this. Just don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on whatever it is that you do. Sometimes there won't be anyone to cheer you on. So you have to be that person for yourself. Sit down, remind yourself why you do what you do, and tell yourself that it doesn't matter what people think, it doesn't matter what people have to say. And if it's good criticism, take it. If it's bad, you don't have to take by the each and everything that everyone has to say. And then another thing for artists, learn how to say no. You don't have to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
If it goes against your values, if it goes against your principles, if it goes against what you believe, sema no. Watakupeleka nowhere. So learn how to say no. Don't give up on yourself. Keep on pushing until you get to where you ought to be, and then never stop learning. When it comes to being an artist, najua tunasemanga tu, hey, it's talent, I'll just wing it. No, you have to be willing to put in the time, energy, resources. Go learn what you need to learn. Go find those skills. Make it beautiful. Okay. The uko passionate. What are you talking about? Yeah. To be willing to put in the work to make it work. Okay. So I think that is my parting shot.
Okay. Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yeah.
Like you have heard, that was Sylvia Wanja, hapa ndani ya Voices of Artist podcast. And like I told you, every artist has a story, and this is where we get to hear it. Till next time, same place, same time, and definitely, I am your favorite host, Precious Owoko. Bye.